It says live. Well, hello, and we're live. It's Sunday night. I want to introduce myself. I am Pat Nash, the host of Pat Nash Talks. And this is where we have the conversations that create real relationships. Welcome to Sunday night. The topic tonight is very, very close to my heart because, as you know, I love relationships. I love to nurture relationships of all sorts, especially when you're dealing with couples who are trying to come together and create something beautiful. So, the topic of sex wars came up because a lot of times people will send me things that are disturbing or things that they want to talk about. And the things that they want to talk about, and I talk about them. So tonight we're going to talk about a subject called sex wars because of a video I saw. I'm going to show it to you, and we're going to discuss it. You can roll it. I think it's
happiest people are single women and married men. They're the two happiest groups of people always.
Single women
and married men
are the happiest.
I've been the happiest groups of people, like not married women. Married women like end up doing all the jobs, and married women aren't happier than single women. Single women are happier than married women, and married men are really happy because they get everything done for them.
okay. So look, I had to take a sip on that one. So let's talk about it. I think you've heard me mention this before, that there is, I'm not going to even say a rumor, there is popular opinion that some of the happiest people in the world, hey, Kelly, are single women and married men. Now, this is not the first time. This lady who actually is on this video, this is not the first time I've heard it. I've heard it more than once. And hey, Cheryl, my sister's popping in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys like and share, because the conversation I'm going to have tonight is not just my opinion, it's the opinion of several people. And I kind of want to, if anything that I could possibly do, I would love to change this narrative that there is a give and take, and that women who are married are just as happy as men who are married. So hit the button, hit the like button, subscribe, share. I think my brother Orlando just popped on. I think there's several people popping on. Thank you all. Please, please share. So let's get in it. So as you know, I don't have a problem with saying I've been married before, more than once. And the topic comes up, would you ever get married again? I was just talking to someone earlier and they were like, I would never get married again. And I'm like, why? And similar to what the lady says, as a woman, they felt like they could not live their dreams. They could not express themselves. They could not fully do all the things that they want to do or they desire to do because they are married. Now, I'm going to say this and be honest. Okay, so it is a lot of conversation out there, and it's a lot of women who complain about maybe their husband doesn't support their dreams. They don't feel like they can talk to their man about their dreams. They don't feel like their dreams or the desires or things that they want are even appreciated. Now, these are career women. These are women who work, not women who are staying at home or whatever. They want to go to the next level. They don't feel like that would be supported. And they have, I would say, hobbies and things they want to do. They don't feel like that is supported by their man, but they feel like the opposite is so. So I don't even know. I do know where to start. That's what we do. We jump right in there and have the conversation, right? So if you're experiencing this, first of all, I'm going to talk to the single people first. people who are single and loving it. I'm not saying everyone has to be married. Marriage is not for everyone. I'm going to say that first. It's not for everyone because I believe when you are married, you need to be a whole person. Not everyone is willing to do the work to become a whole person. They're looking for someone to, quote, complete them. And I'm telling you right now, if you're looking for that, you're not ready to be married. Hey, Mary. Hey, Orlando. So let's jump in and talk about being complete first. I'm going to get to that before I even get to married couples, what to do now. Because sometimes it's easier to say what to do while you are single, some things that you have time to work on while you're single. Hey, Mindy, there's my baby sister coming in. Sometimes you have time to work on things when you're single. It should be a complete focus on you, what you want, what you're able to give, not just what you want to get. Hey, Orlando. Hey, Grace. Hey, Lonzy. So there's time to complete yourself before you come whole to someone who is whole, right? And when I say marriage is not for everyone, and there's my nephew Carlston, y'all, he says he wants to jump on here and talk a little bit. I'm gonna finish this and then I might pull him in. So if that's okay with my producer, I think she would give me the thumbs up. Pull him in if he thinks he wants to talk. So I'm gonna say first thing, because I'm single, right? First thing I did this time, because I've been married before, when I got divorced, I had to take time to look at me, right? I'm like, okay, what do I want? What do I really want? I used to ask people, and I still do, if money and time was not an object, do you know what you want? Do you know what you want? What would your life look like, right? Once you discover that, because you got to know what you want, right? Once you discover that, what does your mate look like who can help complete that, right? What do they look like? So now all of the work comes to you. What are you going to do with you? Once you get in that frame and you have to say it out loud, I want a mate. I want to be married. Because you have so many single people that are afraid of marriage. They won't even admit to wanting to be married because it's not a popular thing. Nobody wants to be attached to someone who's going to make their life miserable. I'm going to tell you right now, there are people I love, I'm very, very close to. Hey, darling, that even as my sisters, I have women that I'm very, very close to, and I'm honest with them. I'll be like, I wouldn't date you. I wouldn't marry you. You're a complainer. You're like, nobody can do anything perfect. People are not perfect. So I know it seems like I'm rambling, but I have so much to say. And it seems like when I have a subject to talk about, all of the information that I'm talking to and I'm listening to comes together to drop right here and talk about it. I don't know if you've seen the Martha Stewart story, right? Very, very inspiring for me as an entrepreneur. She was a perfectionist. Martha Stewart Living was one of my favorite magazines. And I didn't know everything I needed to know about her. This is not a documentary on Martha Stewart. It just came to my mind because all the perfect things she did at some point, she said, thank you, Orlando, for being honest. I would love to be married again, too. That's my brother, y'all. I love him so much. He is such a giver. So, but all the things she had done and all the aim for perfection she was doing, and she's in her 80s now. When she talks about her marriage and her relationship, there is so much regret there. And I think I tell you all the time, the worst thing to do is to die with regrets, right? So that's why I travel a lot. That's why I tell people I care about, I love them, I appreciate them. You guys, words are so powerful, so very powerful. So as you are being honest with yourself and stating, I want to be married again, look at you. Realize forget what you bring to the table. What does your table look like? You should have a whole table. Forget bringing something to the table. What does your table look like when you spread it out? What is somebody looking at getting from you? Are you whole? You're not looking for someone to heal your childhood traumas or your teenage drama or your divorce drama. You're not looking for anyone to heal that. You're not going to blame anyone for where you are. You're not going to blame your exes for where you are because you carry that into your new relationship. They call that baggage, right? So as you discover who you are and where you want to be, I'm telling you, once you do that and you write down what you want that would complete or that would add to complement, you don't want anybody just like you. Because I always say if it's two of you that are just alike, somebody's not needed. I think it's a great idea to find someone with your strengths that will kind of, match up with your weaknesses. So I'm a get. Thank you, Mindy, for sharing. I'm definitely going to share that comment. So as you know who you want to be, now you can know who you want to be with. Does that make sense? When you know who you want to be, you know who you want to be with. I'm gonna get a couple of comments, and thank you all for sharing, because as you share, we're all able to get healed. Dr. Kyrie says, by the way, she had a great show today. You're only as healthy as the secrets you keep. Share, share, share. Talk to someone. So Mindy, I call my little sister, you guys. She's such a sweetheart. She's saying, I was married 30 years, 20 years good, 10 years of growing apart, arguing, addictions, and all kinds of behavior. I do not want to be married again, but I do want to bond with my person. Okay. Thank you, Mindy. That was a very, very good conversation starter. Think about what she said, you guys, because her last marriage was so bad at the end. She says she doesn't want to be married, but she do want to bond with her person. So I'm gonna tell my baby sister. She knows I would tell her. I'm honest with her because I love her. I would say the marriage wasn't the problem. The person was. You guys, marriage is not going to make a person better, and it's not going to make situations worse. Marriage is a agreement between two people to be married. Basically, we're going to come together. We're going to do this, and everybody's like, "Those are vows. You don't break them no matter what." Well, a lot of times you don't break them. Someone else does. And when they do, you have a decision to make as far as, that breach of contract as what you're going to do with it, how you're going to remedy that. I'm not going to tell you to get divorced, but I'm definitely not going to tell you not to, because that's not my place. That's something you have to make a determination of. But I can tell you that there is healing after that. And honestly, there's some lives that can be actually better after that, because it takes two people to make this thing work. And if one is unwilling to make it work, the other one has a decision to make. So I would say to my baby sister, I would say that person you want to bond with and do life, the term is probably marriage, even though some people are so uncomfortable with it because they had a bad situation before. But I'm always going to tell people that because one person wasn't ready doesn't mean the other person that comes into your life won't be either. So, and Orlando says, there is the problem. I know I have things I have to heal with, and I'm working on that. Thank you again for being honest, because I say a lot of times, hey, Celeste, that's another one of my sisters popping in. I say a lot of times the beginning is to understand you're not perfect. And if you're not perfect, hey, baby, chances are the person you connect with is not going to be perfect. This is a news flash. Guess what? Wherever you are, you're going to attract that same energy. So it would make it and make sense for you to heal as much as possible, to be whole as much as possible, to be happy as much as possible, because that is the energy and the frequency that you vibe on. And that is what you're going to attract. A lot of times we're in this place of healing and we attract people that need to be healed. So now you have two people that are hurting, trying to come together whole, and they're neither of them are whole, and they both need to heal. I don't know if that makes sense to you. So I would say the piece of paper, because that's what, when you decide to marry, and the vows. I'm not saying anything small about it. It's a big step, but it's a big step to decide to bond with a person. Good words. Good words, Mindy. Bond with a person. Hey, Tabla. So that's a decision, you guys, and it doesn't start with the paperwork. I was talking to someone who is very wise, and he says to me, focus on the relationship more than the paperwork. So if you have a good relationship, the paperwork, the marriage, the certificate of marriage is just evidence of what you already decided before you sign that, if that makes sense. Now, let's skip ahead to the people who are already in it. Whoa. So now you're in it. And maybe it's good, and maybe you want it to be better. I'm going to say that. I'm not going to just jump to it's bad. Maybe it's good and you want it to be better. And I had a question put to me just this week. What do you do if you know it's not great, but you want it to be better? What do you do? First of all, first of all, good decision to decide you want it to be better. I am not for two people who have decided to be miserable together, because I actually have heard people say, I'm not happy, but the vows are more important than the relationship. Wrong answer. The relationship is more important than anything, anybody. When two people decide to come together, it's those two. And spiritually speaking, a oneness should be happening. You should be melding together. And yes, Mindy and everyone else, you start to change. And you hear people say things like, we just grew apart. The sad part is that happens often. People grow apart. And it's because I think they decided not to grow together. And let me tell you what I mean when I say decided not to grow together. Sometimes, and I'm going to talk about my own self. Y'all know I give my own testimony. Let me get in here so I can see these comments. I give my own testimony. So sometimes the people decide that they decide to grow apart. In other words, they say, okay, we're at this point where we don't have anything to talk about but bills and kids and things that go wrong in the house. And they don't want to do the work to get that, I guess that, what would you call it? That oneness, or to get that feeling again that they had when they first got together, like, hey, it's me and you against the world. Life gets in the way. Life be lifing, right? They're going on here, they're doing their business, they're telling most of their dreams and ambitions to their best friends or somebody at work and around a coffee cooler. And they say a lot of times that's how work relationships start, right? So Kelly jumps in and says you have to be willing to be healed the correct way and from the correct issue. Good point, because there's more than one sometimes. There are so many who don't want to take responsibility for the actual problem. Thank you, Kelly. That's a very good explanation of what happens. So, and then Carlson says sometimes people don't want to put the work in to be in sync. That's where I was getting to. Thank you, nephew. That's my nephew. He said he was going to be raising his hand and be like, I want to jump in. I want to jump in. But this is the real situation. People decide it's too much work. It's too much work to try to talk to you. You're mean spirited. You're nasty. You're cantankerous all the time. You're irritated with work. You're irritated with everything. You need some hormonal pellets. I don't know. You just get there. Your hormones are thrown off. You're not an easy person to talk to. I'd rather talk to the lady at work because at least she's nice, right? Or I'd rather talk to my brother at work because at least he's sympathetic and he listens to me. Well, again, you guys, they don't have to go home with you. They don't have to go home and cook and clean up after you and let the toilet down again for the fifth time. You know, it's a lot of things they don't want to do. They're irritated with, right? So I make this suggestion. Couples, if you're already together, make a point to make each other priority. Always a date night. I don't care if it's Friday night, Saturday night. There are some people that do Monday because that's football and they have football in common. They'll do Monday and it's like nothing else is going to bother this time. We are going to do something together. It's a decision, you guys. It's a decision. The same way you decide to cheat or go try to find someone else to attach to is the same thing when you decide that you want to be with that person. And you're going to do what you need to do to make sure that person understands that you love them and you want to be there. You want to be there. That I don't need you, all that stuff, that's not going to help. So Carsten says, life comes at you fast and you have to be intentional about bettering the relationship. Exactly. That's kind of what I'm just saying. You're making a decision that this is my person and you're going to lose touch. That could be your person and life happens. Life be life, and as people can say. and you feel that distance, what do you do to get it back? You on purpose, you move away from social media, you move away from that person, that the other person that you talk to all the time, because that happens. I want to say probably 90% of the time. You're going to find somebody to unburden yourself with. And if it's not your partner and your spouse, guess what? You're going to do it with somebody else. And that's a very intimate thing. Then you start creating intimacy with other people and you wonder why you're not connected to your spouse, because you feel like it's too much work to be healed with them. And you're right, darling. Being healed is a blessing for you. So heal yourself, heal thyself. My bishop says self-esteem is, it's the reason they call it self-esteem. Esteem yourself first. And then you practice that with yourself. And guess what? It spills over to the person that you're dating or you're spending time with, right? You're loving on them like you love on yourself. Thank you, Mindy. When I said hormonal problems, I'm not just talking about women. There is something called andropause. That's men. Women have menopause. It's weird, right? Menopause for women. And men have andropause, hormones going crazy in your body. Y'all call me. I can tell you what to do about that. Trust me, I can tell you what to do about that. There is help for those kind of situations, you guys. It is not your fault. Your body is going crazy at a certain age. That's why they call it a midlife crisis. Men go get a sports car, start hanging out with younger women to feel better or whatever. They're going through what they call a midlife crisis. Well, women go through it too. They don't feel attractive. They feel like they're, in competition with other women. They start, getting upset that they have to even do that and be in that space. When, if you figured out how to love yourself and you figured out how to appreciate you with all your flaws and imperfections, you show up a lot better for someone else. I'm just saying, you do. You show up a lot better for someone else. Thank you, Carlston. My nephew is on it tonight. Okay, men partner up and are immature. It takes men longer to develop the monogamous role at times. Okay. Now he is in the lane. You're not fixing to get me in trouble, because what I can say is I agree. And when I say it is a part of maturity, when you understand, you can absolutely get what you need from the person that you love and you're attached to. But sometimes you feel like it's easier to get it, out there because number one, they're willing. And number two, you don't have to see them the next day. Honestly, you guys, sometimes I hear people all the time where men will say the affair really didn't mean anything. It was just sex. And I know you're like, what kind of foolishness is that? It's immaturity. Like you said, it's immaturity. Of course, it means something. It means you were disloyal. It means you were not faithful. And when they say they don't mean anything, they mean they can absolutely have sex without attaching themselves emotionally. They don't understand the spiritual implications of that. But thank you, Carlson said he's speaking from experience. It took a while, sometime, to realize, okay, I can literally get what I want from one woman. The woman who is there for me, the woman who, if I get a fever and I can't get out of bed, she's going to be there for me. This other chick that likes to just listen to me or maybe hook up every now and then, she ain't coming. And I'm telling you, she ain't coming, especially if you get COVID, she ain't coming. But a lot of times the wife is there. And I told you, a brother gave me that testimonial. He said he will forever love his wife and respect her because there was no one else who was there when he thought he was dying of COVID. She was there for him. I mean, there's times he thought he couldn't even walk. She was there for him, making sure he was taken care of and everything. And that is a scary place to be because people are like, oh, I might get it, right? Sacrificing because that is my guy. I'm going to take care of him. So let's go back to this thing that married men are happier and how we can fix that. Married men, they say, are happier because women, and I'm going to raise my hand because this was me at one point. Women come into a marriage and I don't know if they've watched TV or they've listened to so many other people. They don't have a clue that they can love a man without losing themselves. Let me tell you what that looks like. Let's say I'm always talking about business opportunities and ventures and traveling, and it's going to take someone special who can hear that and often and tell me to go sit down somewhere, anywhere where you're comfortable and rest. You are going too fast and too hard, and I need you to be okay. It's going to take a special person who can say that right to you and love you and still be supportive of you and say, you can get them tomorrow, babe. Right now, you need some rest. You can get up tomorrow and write 10 books and talk to 150 people if you want to. But right now, we're going to shut this down. Women sometimes take care of the husband, take care of the kids, they go to work, they do all of those things. And in their mind, I can't ask for help, or my husband will think I'm not a good wife. I can't lack in any department, or I'm going to be compared to, a Martha Stewart type woman, someone who has it all. And let me say this while we're talking about it, you guys. Social media, sometimes people post on purpose, the things that look good or the things that are fun. They post that on purpose. So that is not their full-time life. So stop comparing your relationship to the stuff you see on social media. And I know you're doing it. I know without a shadow of a doubt you're doing it because you're like, hey, something is wrong with us. We're not making videos together. We're not going on vacations and diving into the water together. He's not feeding me grapes and bananas and all this stuff on video. Something is wrong with our relationship. You guys, those are for social media influencers. That is supposed to look good. That's what they're designed it for. Real life is knowing that that person is going to be there. You're going to be able to talk about anything. That's the real life things. Being able to talk about anything and knowing that person is going to show up for you. So that conversation about men being happier because everything is done for them, because I'm going to use my testimony again. I wanted to make sure the house was clean. I watched my mom to make sure the house is clean. I had husbands who like to cook, some that didn't. I'm gonna make sure there's something to eat for my family. They never have to open the refrigerator and nothing's there. But I'm gonna work 40 hours because I want this raise, I want this promotion. I want that part of my life to be great too. And sometimes I'm absolutely exhausted. And then I have to feel pretty and sexy so that when we go to bed, that has to be right too. We overdo it sometimes and we don't allow ourselves to be human and share that with our husbands and say, baby, I'm tired. So I can cook, or later on I can be cooking. You know what I'm saying? Choose. Choose. Do you want to eat out? So I was gonna say something else. Do you want to eat out? I was gonna say you want to eat out so we can eat it. Anyway, do you want to eat out so that we can play later? Or is it important for you to have a home cooked meal? Just know, yeah, I may not be turning cartwheels later. So you choose what you choose this day, which one you want. Just to be honest with them, right? We hide ourselves and we wonder why we don't know each other because we're not willing to be open. Carlson says oftentimes women go all in as a mother role and men take it for granted, but men are more romantic. So the few times he goes out of his way, it is not appreciated. He discounts all the daily home wife stuff she does, and the rifts begin if they don't talk it out. Okay, so I think what he's trying to say is when he say men are more romantic, that's that after hour calisthenics and stuff they want to do later, right? So he hadn't even thought about the fact that she went to work just like he did, right? She came home, she made sure the homework was done by the kids, she made sure food was done. When he came through the door, she was trying to put on all that sexy. And when he stops appreciating that and saying it, like, baby, thank you so much. I know you're tired. Sit down. Let me rub your back. Let me rub your feet. Relax. I know all this stuff needs to be done and to get done later. Like, remember I said it takes a special person to tell me to sit down somewhere and relax. To just say, I see you. I see what you're doing, and I'm not taking it for granted. I appreciate everything you do. Appreciation goes a long way. A thank you goes a long way. So he's saying when he's trying to be romantic, um, yeah, and then he goes out his way a few times. It's like, look, any other time you, any other time you would be doing something else. And I appreciate him for sharing that, because just because he's been, I was gonna say he's been a jackass one time, doesn't mean you have to hold that and make that a label of who he is. Okay, maybe he really did realize. Hey, Bert, maybe he really did realize that you are wonderful and you're doing great things. You're right, Mary. It does go a long way. Thank you goes a long way. I don't care if you're married, dating, you at work. Thank you goes a long way. Angie and I talk about that a lot. Sometimes what money doesn't do, appreciation does. Like you can give somebody a raise, but you don't say, "Hey, I appreciate what you do, and you're invaluable here." It might be like, "Oh, they had to give me a raise. It's that time." No, I appreciate you. And I would pay you more if I could, but I appreciate what you do. I see you. That's such an important thing, you guys, in relationships, big time. So, Kelly says women love anniversaries and birthdays. Men forget them. Not all men. Some men remember and women don't. I'm going to be honest with you. Be like, what are you talking about? We're going out to dinner. What's today? Ma'am, it's our anniversary. Oh, shoot. So you guys, we can't put that on every man. Sometimes it's the women. When I tell you roles are reversed, sometimes roles are reversed. Men can remember things sometimes that women don't. So let's say sometimes in a relationship, men or women don't remember the important things. And I'm not just saying guys, a thank you go a long way. I'm saying women. Advice I give to women: do what you want him to do to you. Like if you want him to appreciate you more, start saying this: "Baby, I appreciate you. Thank you." Huh? For what? You brought my coffee to me this morning. Oh, dang. Do I bring it to you every morning? You don't never say that. Well, I just want you to know. Or a text. If I don't ever tell you, let me tell you I appreciate you. It's a good habit to do. You guys, gratefulness will bring you, when I tell you in business, in personal relationships, gratefulness will open you up to so many more blessings. Thank you, Bert. Bert said he remembers his anniversary. And Grace said, yes, there are some good men that do remember. Yes, it is. Some good men and some good women. Because I'm telling you, the way I be rolling, sometimes I forget. I forget. Well, I don't forget my own birthday. I ain't gonna lie, because I celebrate the whole month. But sometimes I forget things, and it's coming up, and I'm like, "Oh my God, today is my son's birthday. Let me send him some Amazon." You forget. Life be lifing. So I'm gonna say this. My son, my nephew just put my birthday out there. You only know that because that's your son's birthday too. Um, see, Kelly's always starting something. You ever notice that? Kelly always starting something, some sports stuff out here. She know a whole bunch of people gonna be. She's gonna jump on. How about them Saints? Right out. We talk about relationships, Kelly. Get it together. So she's. I'm gonna tell Angee on you. You're a troublemaker. So let me get back to the subject. You, you guys have to understand that thankfulness, gratefulness goes a long way. I don't care who you're dealing with, not who that. I don't care who you're dealing with. Thankfulness and gratefulness go a long way. So, with that being said, this is how we're going to change that narrative. Married people is not just the men that should be happy in marriage because everything's being done for them. The women should be happy in marriage too. Hey, Dixie Cup. So let me tell you this. If you're married, guys, and you have a woman that you appreciate, let's try this. It's Monday. Tomorrow's Monday. The reason I love Mondays because it's, to me, and even though Sunday's the start of the week, Monday gives you a new day to start something you haven't been doing. Ladies and gentlemen, if someone starts doing something that they didn't do before and you actually appreciate it, don't bring it up like you ain't never done this before. That is like the worst comeback from somebody being nice to you. I had a I had a girlfriend that said that, well, he's doing this and he ain't never done that before, so I'm just waiting to see when he's gonna stop. I'd be like, if I was him, I'll stop today. It sounds like you don't appreciate it, right? So let's just say this, ladies. And I'm only saying ladies because sometimes we are suspicious when good behavior starts and we hadn't seen it. It's like, oh Lord, what is he doing? Cheating? What is he up to? He's going to say something bad after this. He's being good. So I used to hear my mom say it, laughing too much, you're going to be mad about something later. Why do we have to have that idea or that thought? Why don't we say, okay, praise God, he's doing some great things. I think this is going to stay. I'm going to follow suit. He's saying nice things. I'm going to say nice things to him. I like this. I want this to keep going. And if you like it, tell him that. I like it when you do that. Can you do that some more? And if you don't like it, guess what? Say that too. I honestly didn't used to say anything because I didn't want to have an argument. It's like, I hate when he do that. But I'm not going to say nothing because I know that's going to lead to another argument. And I just don't want to argue. I would rather be at peace. But let me tell you something, you're not fixing anything. You're not. You're not fixing anything. Do the work, even in a relationship. It's worth it. Because guess what? When he gets ready to do it again, he's going to say, well, she don't like this. So I'm not going to do that. She don't like that. But I do know what she does like. She did it. And I'm going to tell you all the time, I need to wear a t-shirt that says she can't read your mind or he can't read your mind. Because I think sometimes women, I've had this argument with women. He should know better. How? Have you ever told him? Yes, I've told him. How many times? I told him before we even got together. How long y'all been together? 5 years. Girl, tell him again. Tell you how we learn. We learn by repetition. When you were born, if somebody calls you, if they call me Pat one time and never call me Pat again, I wouldn't even know what my name was. I wouldn't even know how to answer it. And I'm not saying men are babies. I'm not. Hey, I'm not saying men are babies, or I'm not saying they're childish. Look, another man even says sometimes they're a little slow maturing. And I use the word slow all the time. Angie laugh at me. I'll be like, oh, they're a little slow. What does that mean? Yeah, I would just say, there's a difference between being really sharp and really quick and someone being a little slow. So sometimes people can be a little slow, especially when it doesn't have to do with them. People remember stuff they like. They're not going to always remember stuff you like. So it's okay to repeat yourself a couple times. Baby, can you please, please, please let down the toilet? I almost fell in again last night. It was in the middle of the night. Toilet was up. I thought you would remember. I sit there and almost had a wet butt again. I need you to let the toilet down. So yeah. And if they don't remember, you guys, I need to make something that that ties the toilet seat down where they can't get it up, and they'll remember next time. But anyway, see, that's what happens when you let me ramble on. And when I've had red wine, I'm at my son's home, and he had a big housewarming. It was so beautiful. The family came through and everything. And so yeah, blame it on the wine. So so I'm going to encourage you. Try this week. I don't get that. What is he talking about? Orlando says, I don't get that. There has never been an issue with me. What was I on the last time? What was I talking about? An issue? Oh, letting the toilet down. Okay. Yeah. Darlene says shit starter. That's why I don't. Darlene, I'm gonna get you. Nope. Then you got to go clean the floor. Oh, you're right. If you if you glue the toilet seat down, yeah, the toilet seat. Yeah, thank you, brother. No, it's true. It's a real thing, and I don't know if it's because the man had been single for a long time. I had that issue. It's like if you let it up, just let it back down when you're finished, right? You let it up, let it down, flush the toilet. This is how you try to train them, right? You let it up to use it, let it down, flush the toilet. And so the conversation was, why don't you just let it down if you have to go to the bathroom? Well, I didn't let it up. And if you think about it, okay, I'm gonna help for y'all who have this problem, you could tell it's a problem of mine, right? For y'all who have this problem, this is what I tell him. Okay, so as a woman, I never have to let the top up. As a man, you only have to let it up when you have to go number one. Number two, you have to have it down too. So more often than not, the toilet seat needs to be down. So just let it down when you finish. That's respectful, right? So anyway, I'm gonna get off that because that's evidently my thing. Should Mary says, should toilet paper go over the top? I know it sounds like I'm picking though. Should it go over the top or on the bottom? I don't care where the toilet paper goes. Some people do. I don't care if it goes over the top, over the bottom, as long as it rolls. I can't stand a toilet paper roller that does not roll. To me, that doesn't make any sense. Darlene says it should go over, and she's slightly OCD, so maybe that's the way it should go. Carlston, men, if you drink alkaline water, you may not need to lift it up. See, he was doing real good. No. Lord, come get him. So anyway, you do have to let it up because you're going to pee on the lid, and then she's going to sit down and it's going to be wet. You have to let it up. You ain't that sharp of a shooter. I'm just saying, let it up because, yeah, it's like WH. So, yeah, Carlston, just tell the guys, brother, to let it up and be courteous of their wives or their girlfriends or whatever and let it back down. He talking about aim. See? Don't let Carlston teach your little boys how to go to the little boys' room. So I know I got off on that tangent, but the point is, it's such a possibility for two people to work together. And when they do, you guys, it is so beautiful. I promise you, it is so beautiful. The things you can do with each other that is not as fun when you're doing it by yourself. You hear what I'm saying? It's not as fun when you're doing it by yourself. So, Bert says, never a dull moment. Men, in most cases, have to be a certain way, and society has beat them down for it. Oh, Kelly, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, I love my brothers. There is nothing like them in the world. I'm telling you. So, say what you want. Be this independent woman. I am to a big extent. I can work for myself. There's a lot of things I can do for myself that I don't want to do for myself. I want a man to do it for me, right? So I could do a lot of things. I could do a lot of things. Mary berries are not the same. Just saying. So anyway, I used to, yeah, and trust me, I know. I used to sell adult toys, and should I be saying that on social media? Yes. Okay. So so all I'm saying is, for those of you who want a relationship, it's worth nurturing it. It's worth having it good. Why would you want a relationship? Look at Carlston's face. I'm sorry, nephew. I shouldn't have said that. But yes. How do I recover from that? Okay, so Mary, you got me in trouble. You shouldn't have even said that. And Bert got the popcorn. See? Okay, so Mary says, remember that. Oh, you went to one of my parties. So anyway, I'm gonna blame it on this. Getting back to great relationships. I could teach a class for real. I could teach a class. There are some things that when two people come together and passion parties. So when two people come together and it is good, it is really good. You guys, sometimes life can be heavy. And when two people come together, Mary's telling on me, talking about I did and I was married. When two people come together and they're experiencing life and all the things that life have to offer, it could be so very good. And I understand it can be bad too, but sometimes it's cyclical. I'll tell you that sometimes, it's like, oh, I'm so glad I picked this guy. You're up here. I'm so glad I picked him. Or this person, this is my person, and we're doing great things. And then right about here, I can't believe he did that. That was like the dumbest thing ever. I told him not to do that. And you go here, it's like, why did I get with this idiot? And then it swings back up. Well, about time he's doing a little bit better. Then you're up here again on the top. and be like, that's my dude. I mean, he did his thing. I love him. So some things are fixed, you guys, just by hanging in there. And some things are never going to be fixed because they don't want to fix it. So I'm telling you, I am an advocate of marriage. I'm single and I'm happy in my singleness, but I am happy in my marriage. I intend to be. I intend to find that person. We're going to do life together and we're going to burn it up. And shoot, I might teach another class after that. But anyway, you need an after hour show on that. Yes. Good idea. Hey, Beth. Good idea. So maybe my producers listening to this now will find an outlet, a way to have an after hour show where only adults can log on, and we'll have the real conversations that create a conversation that create real relationships and real fun relationships. How about that? So, uh, Darlene's starting trouble right now, but uh, yeah, don't get started, girl. Anyway, so it's almost time for us to end. You got, I promise you, I could talk all night because that's what I do. Pat Nash Talks. I am the host of this show. And these are real relationship conversations. And I'm telling you right now, there is nothing like two people who work together and create peace, first of all. Peace and passion, prosperity, all those P words that come to mind come to mind that can be enjoyed when you two are together. So I'm still an advocate. As Mary J could say, I still believe in love. And there is nothing on this earth more powerful than love. And I know as a little bitty girl, I was taught the first, the first verse they teach you, God is love. And spirit and the person who made us is love. You guys, nothing works perfectly without love. Love is perfect. Relationships and people are not. So give room for other people like you give room for yourself, right? You'll give excuses for yourself all day long. But then when it comes back, thank you, nephew. That's my nephew. He still believes in love too. So when it comes back to two people being together, I don't believe that all women who are married are not happy. I don't believe that. And I've seen women who are married and happy because they married the right person, the person who loves them and loves being in love with them. Thank you, Costin. He said he still believes who loves being in love with them and loves doing life with them and can trust them. They got their back. And it's beautiful. There's nothing like two people. I think scripturally it said one can put 1,000 to flight and two can put 10,000. The synergy and the energy that comes together when two people are walking in agreement is nothing short of miraculous. So I'm always going to be an advocate for it. I know Dixie Cup, you're happy over there because my brother takes good care of you, and he's very patient. Because I wouldn't be married to you either. No, I'm just playing. I tell y'all, I have friends all the time, and I tease them, but I be like, "I love you, but I could not be with you." So, yeah, shout out to my brother. He is amazing. Tell Mike I said so. But you guys, it's beautiful when you have two people who have decided, because it is a decision. Love is a decision, just like hate is. Love and gratitude and faithfulness and loyalty is a decision, just like its opposite. So, as we get ready to check off, I'm gonna tell you this: if you love someone, tell them you appreciate them. As Mary said, thankfulness can go a long way. I've made it a habit. I really try, you guys. I really try hard. I miss it sometimes to tell people who I love and I appreciate that I love and appreciate them and I care about them. So, my friends that are on tonight or that will log on, I love and appreciate you for sharing, for coming on here, sharing and liking and being here week after week just to listen. I have what I call my diamonds in the house a lot, Lonzine and Dixie and Darlene, and I probably will name some people and miss some people, but they're here, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you for showing up and listening to me because you could be somewhere else listening to somebody else. I don't know why you would do that. I know Mike. Mike said, "Amen." I don't know why you would do that, but come here listen. And if you want better relationships, I promise you every week, I do my level best to look and see what is out there and some of the topics that are being talked about. And if you want to talk about something in particular, go to patnash.com and there's a little button that says contact me, hit contact me, or go on to, thank you, Lonzine, go into Facebook and message me and say, hey, I want you to talk about this. And I'm going to think about it. You don't tell me to have an after hour adult conversation because I will figure out how to make it happen, because there is no subject that we can talk about that I would shy away from, not one, because I think it helps you. It helps us to be better people. Uh, Bev said, be intentional about your intentions. Exactly. Do what you say and mean what you say. They say it with your chest and mean it and do it, especially if it's good and you know it's going to bring peace to you and to someone else. And I will say that as much as it is up to you, your role is to live at peace with all men, as much as it is up to you. Now, we know some people are hell raisers, and you might have to do that every now and then. That's the Betty Jean in me. But as much as it is up to you, live at peace with all men. I'm going to say, I wish you love and light always, and peace and blessing. Those are not just minor words. Think about it. Love heals all things. Love heals all things. Peace, there's nothing like it. Blessings, who don't want blessings? And light, who wants to walk in darkness? Nobody I know, or nobody I want to know. So love and light, peace and blessings always. Next Sunday or sooner, I'll see you then. Until then, good night.
Hi, I'm Pat Nash, and I want to speak to you a little bit about dreams, about hope, about maybe giving up or wondering why you haven't moved forward. Someone asked me, how did you get here to be a relationship coach? It actually came out of a need for myself and what I observed looking around after I asked myself a couple of questions. Why was I not doing the things that I wanted to do? Why had I gone through divorce? Why am I not doing anything that I set out to do? You see, as a teenager, as a young person, doing pretty well in high school, I had all of these dreams set out for me. I was going to take over the world. But at some point, life happened. I realized I was not the only one. You see, there's a lot of us who stopped hoping, who stopped dreaming, who stopped chasing our dreams or going after our dreams because we don't have to chase anything. When we look internally and figure out what it is that's holding us back, the sky's the limit, and you don't have to chase anything. You attract it.